preoccupied with my purpose means that my attention is here. I can afford to look over there, right? And so it removes distractions and helps you to get back focused. That's what intentional living is all about, getting your focus back. Friend, my life changed when I started doing this one thing, intentional living. Now, I used to be the procrastinator friend, the wait till 11:59 to submit type of friend, the doing the homework while the teacher is walking around to collect it type of friend, the living in the moment type of friend. But I learned very quickly that that wasn't going to work for me. Okay? I had too much on my plate and too much potential to waste. Now, let me be very clear and upfront. I already know that my videos, my wisdom, and my advice is not for everybody. My content is for my community of friends that are multi-passionate, okay? You have a big dream, big vision, big goals, okay? And you are also multifaceted, meaning you a mother, you a father, you a sister, you have a ministry, you have a business, you have, all of these things that you are balancing on your plate, right? The plate be plate. And I also know that every piece of wisdom that I share is 9 times out of 10 going to have biblical backing, perspective, or a principle somewhere, shape, or form, because I believe in doing life with God. And I honestly think it's very much impossible to live an intentional life without. So if you're still here watching, friend, that means any of those things I just said, you're either a believer, you're multi-passionate, or you're multifaceted. Go ahead, stick around so that we can talk about how to live an intentional life in 2024. So what is intentional living? I want you to think about when you wake up in the morning. Do you just get up and start completing your to-do list or start completing your tasks because it's the thing to do? Like it's, your chores, it's your checklist. You just have to get it done. Or do you look at your to-dos and your tasks as something that is helping you to reach an aim, reach a goal, helping you to become what you desire to become, or helping your life to move in the direction that you are looking for it to move? So that leads me to my next question, which is, do you have a vision or an aim or a specific direction that you want for your life to go? Because I feel like a lot of the times we are just living in the moment, especially like being young, right? Like we're not thinking about, and I don't know if it's because it's instant gratification or whatever the case may be, a lot of the times is affecting our mindset. They call us the microwave generation, right? Like we don't understand the importance of a good crock pot. You know what I'm saying? Something that, take a little minute to slow down and simmer and cook. Like we don't understand the importance of that. And so when it comes down to our vision for our life, a lot of the times we just make decisions for the here and the now. We commit to things for the here and the now. Like, oh, I need money. I'll just go DoorDash. Oh, I need money. Oh, I'll just do Uber. Oh, I need money, or, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to do that. I'm going to just sign up for this real quick, by my phone. You know what I'm saying? And so when it comes down to the vision or the direction for our life, we don't really think long term. We don't really think bigger picture. A lot of the times we are just looking at what we have in our hand or what we have right in front of our face. So now the question I want you to think about when it comes down to living an intentional life in 2024, what is the bigger picture for your life? That's something that you want to think about. What is the overall direction or vision that your life is headed? What is the legacy that you want to leave? What do you want to be known for as an individual, right? Those are some things that you want to think about. And this takes me into the point of sometimes we are literally living on accident instead of purpose. There is a difference between accidental living and intentional living. Accidental living is literally looks like waking up every day, just living and making decisions on a whim without much thought, without much intention, right? Making commitments on a whim, just passively giving your time away to distractions like social media and all of those things. Like you're more so going with the flow, right? Like going with the flow, whatever life throws at you, hey. You know what I'm saying? But there's no intention, there's no purposeful planning, there's no thought that goes into your life, right? So basically when you live on accident, you just treat your life as if, who cares? You know what I'm saying? That's the type of mentality that you can have when you're living on accident. But to live an intentional life, although we're not in control, right? I'm not saying, I still understand that we are limited, but to live an intentional life means that you have an aim, you have a goal, you have a desire to be something, you have a desire to make something happen out of your life. You know what I'm saying? You're not just a waste of breath. You know what I mean? You understand that, hey, I was put on this earth for a purpose. I am here with purpose. Like, I'm not just here for no reason. You know what I mean? And so you understand that there's a deeper reasoning. There's a bigger picture to why there's a you here. Because if there wasn't a you here, there would be something missing. So every day you wake up wanting to maximize the time that you have. Right? Because you're living with an aim. You're living with a target. You're living with a vision. You're living with a direction. That is intentional living. The next thing is being preoccupied versus being occupied. And this all has to do with what is intentional living. This is where you really begin to look over your life and you say, am I preoccupied with distractions? Meaning, when you evaluate your life and you take a second to look over your life, am I preoccupied with stuff that is taking my focus away? Am I preoccupied with things that are not pushing me towards my aim, towards my goal, towards my target, towards my vision? Am I preoccupied with something that is just here to pay a bill, but is not here to move me toward my vision, toward my target, toward my purpose, right? My bills are paid, but my purpose is not being handled. My purpose is not being stewarded. My bills are being paid, but my purpose and my gifts are being buried. And so to be preoccupied means that I'm committing to things that are not in alignment. They're not what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm doing them. Right? Or am I occupied with my purpose? Meaning, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? And it's so crazy because I can only say this because, friend, I get it. I know what it means to be preoccupied with distractions. There was a season of my life, and it was literally when the panoramic happened. It was a season of my life where I was a sophomore in college. I had just got engaged, so I was preparing for a wedding. I literally was preparing to start an internship that got closed down because of all the things that was going on in the world. So then I was working 3 jobs. I was working in a retirement home. I was working for a Instacart. So I was doing delivery driving, delivering people groceries. And then on top of that, I got another job because I was working for a branding agency. And then on top of that, I was running a bakery. I had started a bakery, on the go bakery. And I say this all the time. I don't even like to cook, let alone bake. So I was committed to all of these things. On top of all of that, I was a full-time college student, and I was taking more credits than I had to take because I was double majoring and minoring. And one of my majors was finance. And so that season of my life really had me buckle down because it was a lot going on. And I was just committed to so many things that was not in alignment with who I was and what my purpose was. And what do I mean by that? I had to take away things. The distractions I had to remove. You want to know what left? That finance major? Because, honey, I am not an analytical thinker. I'm creative by nature. So I'm sitting in my finance classes like, bro, what in the world is going on here? I'm bored. Okay? So that finance major had to go. That bakery had to go. Why? Because it's not what I'm called to do. So again, there were things that had to go because my priorities were all out of whack. Right? I'm committing to certain things and I still got purpose on my mind. I still got all the things I'm supposed to be doing is on my mind because guess what? It won't leave you. Those ideas that you're supposed to be released, it's not going to go nowhere. That purpose that's on the inside waiting to be released, it's not going to go nowhere. Right? Because it's what you're supposed to be doing. So you can't even get comfortable in the distraction. Can't even get comfortable being preoccupied because on the depths of your soul, you know there's more, right? There is more. So I always want to be deep and reflective. So the question is, are you preoccupied with distractions or are you occupied with your purpose? And the only way that you can be occupied with your purpose is when you start living intentional. And intentional living starts with a plan. It's super easy to get distracted by the demands of life when you don't have a clear plan in front of you to keep you focused, like a vision board or a vision journal or some sort of planner to give you the direction or the aims or the goals that you are trying to follow, right? So for example, when I was in high school, just looking back, I feel like I did not leverage all of the opportunities that I could have because I didn't have a clear vision, right? Like I didn't have a clear direction because I don't feel like, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I feel like before we are told to make a decision as big as college, like, y'all want me to go into years of debt. Thank God I went to school for free. But y'all want to make a big decision, the biggest decision I've ever had to make as far as going to college, going into millions of dollars of debt, when I am not at the place to make that decision because I'm still trying to gather my bearings on who I am, what I want, what my life is supposed to look like. I don't even know. Like, what is my path? Like, these are things I feel like we should be doing our senior year. Like, what are you passionate about? Like, who are you? You know what I mean? Like, because I think these are key things to know before entering adulthood and making decisions for your life. So when I was in high school, like, I didn't leverage all of the opportunities because I was just here. You know what I'm saying? Enjoying the moment, living the life. You know what I mean? Like, and it's so crazy because I knew God, like I had a relationship with him and people knew that I lived for him. But I feel like when it came down to taking advantage of the fact that, hey, I'm here for a purpose, even in high school. Yes, I can still have fun, enjoy the moment, but I can still have clear aim and direction and vision so that I can make sure that I am taking advantage of all the opportunities that are available to me. And it wasn't until college where I'm like, baby, we grown. It's time to make real life adult decisions. You know what I'm saying? And so in college, I'm like, hey, that 2.0 that you had in high school was cute, but baby, it's time for a 4.0 because you're capable, right? Like I could have settled, but you're capable of more. You're smart, you're intelligent. When you put your mind to it, you can do it. And so when I approached college, I approached it with a different perspective. And I knew that, hey, I got 4 years. And then something got to shake when it comes down to my career. You know what I mean? And what I'm doing for the rest of my life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, where am I going? Where am I headed? And honestly, I wasn't expecting to get married as quickly as I did. And so I'm grateful that when I did go into college, it was now time to buckle down and get a vision. And I feel like because I got serious about getting a vision and an overall direction for my life, I feel like it changed my behavior, right? It changed how I was acting, how I was moving, okay? I went from turning homework in at the last minute to submitting homework days before it was due. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of the times we try to alter our behavior first without altering our identity, without altering whether or not we have a vision. You get a vision, your behavior gonna change. You get a vision, your everyday life is going to change because you have, this is where I'm going. You know what I mean? If you don't know where you're going, you just on a, what they be saying? What you on a, dang. You're on a, what is it called when, comment below, what is it called when you just go on a drive, right? With no destination. Like, you just go on a drive. Like, I don't know what that's called. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I cannot remember. But you just go on a drive, just like that. Like, and you're just on cruise. Like, you just enjoying the sights. You know what I'm saying? But when you have a direction or you have a destination, your behavior and how you move changes. And so this is why I created the Intentional Living Planner, because child, before it was for you, it was for me. First, like when I was looking at planners, I felt like there wasn't a planner that was built specifically for me and the way that I saw life, like the way that my perspective was on life. I didn't just need a book for dates and appointments. I needed a book to help me write down the vision and the direction for my life. I needed a book to help me stay aligned, stay focused with the vision and direction for my life. Help me to make purposeful action steps based upon the vision for my life, right? And so that's why, like, when I was looking, I'm like, these are cute. Maybe they had pieces of what I needed, but they didn't have the full thing. And like, even when it came down to something that would help me balance my plate, like, yes, they have calendars and brain dumps and all of these things for me to write down everything that's on my to-do list. But the reality is, for me, that was overwhelming because all that was a long list of to-dos. Like, I would be writing to-dos for the next 3 days. You know what I'm saying? But it for me, it didn't have where I broke down each category of my life, like myself, my home, my marriage, my family, my business, my ministry. Like, it didn't have each of these areas where I could go in and write down, okay, for this area of your life, like I can break it down into bite-sized chunks and I can just brain dump, okay, for yourself, what do you need to do this week? For what do you need to, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't have that. And that's how my brain functioned because, girl, God, listen, I have a lot of things on my plate. As like you, because you're still here watching this video. We have a lot of things on our plate, and it can just get overwhelming because of how multifaceted we are. And so that's why I had to create this, because I needed something that was going to help me balance my plate, right? Because if I'm living intentional, the point of living intentional is so that I'm not overwhelmed, so that I'm not stressed out, right? Like, yeah, I have this bigger dream, this bigger picture, but to live intentional also means to live in the present. You have to balance both, right? Because we're visionaries. We see the grander picture, but you have to be able to come back down to the bite-sized pieces for today and tomorrow and this month. I created this planner to be deep, reflective, but also simple. Like, you know what I mean? Like something that holds the big vision, but keeps you focused and aligned for where you are at this very moment. And so, friend, if you're trying to live an intentional life, I'm just going to, put it in there right now. You might as well click the link in the bio, in the description, and grab the Intentional Living Planner. Right now, it's digital. It's digital. But if you got an iPencil, you can use it on your iPad. It's a PDF. You can also feel free to print it out. But it's just simply that, girl. It's not for, just regular schmegulars, appointments and dates and all of those things. It can do that. But it's mainly to help you live a life that is intentional, that is balanced, and that is in alignment. Okay? So that's that. Now, going to point number 4, intentional living removes comparison. Intentional living removes comparison. It literally helps you to evaluate who you are living for and what standards you are living by, right? So when I think of intentional living, and at the start of every quarter, because I use a 12-week method, and so I just focus on 3 months at a time. So instead of planning my whole year out, when, New Year come, everybody want to plan their year. No, baby, I'm only planning 3 months because that's as far as I can think, okay? Now, at the start of every quarter, I like to start with, okay, who am I? What is my purpose? What is the vision for my life? What are my assignments? I need to get back in tune and back laser focused with my life. right? And so again, I feel like intentional living gets rid of comparison because I'm locked in with my life. If I'm choosing to live purposeful, that means it requires my attention, right? If I'm trying to take intentional action steps on a day-to-day basis, I'm trying to live on purpose. That means that it requires me to have attention to it, to my life. So if my attention is on my life, I don't have my attention span cannot go to somebody else's life, right? So with intentional living, you are constantly evaluating your commitments, your time, your motives, and your why. You know what I mean? You're always looking and evaluating your own life. The attention is on. In order to be purposeful with anything, it requires your attention. So in order for me to have attention on my own life, I can't afford to have attention on anybody else's life. You know, because I'm occupied. That's why I keep saying being occupied with my purpose means that my attention is here. I can afford to look over there, right? And so it removes distractions and helps you to get back focused. That's what intentional living is all about, getting your focus back. So to end our video, I want to get to the practicals, and I want to end with how you can live intentional in 2024. All right. So number one, set a clear vision and aim for your life. So I recommend to think on a larger scale. So like 5+ years. What do you see your life being in the next 5 years? And I want you to think about every area. I love me a good vision board. Okay. Because I feel like as a visionary and as a creative, like I always need to see things visually. And so I would just definitely think big, right? Think 5+ years. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just need some direction. Okay. And then I want you to dial it back a little bit and take it 1 quarter at a time, because realistically, 3 months is a lot, but 12 months is too much. You know what I mean? It's giving information overload. And then that's when you just clock out. That's why a lot of people don't continue reaching their goals, and they honestly stop setting goals, because the reality is I'm clocking out if I got to think for 12 months. My goals for the next 12 months, I don't even know what my goal is going to be for the next 3 months, let alone 12. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what I'm going to eat tomorrow. Like, it's too much. And so you force yourself to clock out. And so again, take 1 quarter at a time. So now I want you to think about, what is your vision and aim for the next 3 months? And my recommendation will always be to include God. Okay? Include God in it. Ask the Lord, pray about it, ask him to show you and reveal to you his desires for you. And you know what I mean? All the things. So number 2, set your quarterly goals with action steps. So each quarter, set 3 goals. This is the middle of a quarter, but as you're watching this, you can prepare for the next quarter. Okay. Set 3 goals with action steps, because you don't got to action steps. Goals just wish. Okay. So I want you to think about, who do you want to become? Because behavior always follows your identity. And then after that, I want you to think about what action steps you can take each week to help you accomplish it. And then also, what are some rewards? Because we love a good reward. I love a good reward. So who do you want to become? What do you want to accomplish each week to help you to become that? And what are some good rewards? Number 3 is set routines and resets. You need a check-in, friend. You can't set goals and then go ghost. You know what I'm saying? Like, you going ghost on your goals. That don't work. That's why accountability is good, so that, people checking for you. You need somebody to check for you, but you also need to check for you. You know what I'm saying? Because the reality is, I feel like sometimes you can lean on people too much. You need to learn how to hold your own self accountable. That's a reality too. Yes, you need accountability partners. You need an accountability community and all of those things, but you have to learn how to hold yourself accountable as well. And this is a priority, right? Because this is moving the needle to help you get to your vision, your direction, your aim for your life. And so you need to be able to hold yourself accountable. And I recommend doing this by setting reset days. So for me, every Sunday, baby, time to reset. Weekly resets. If you can't meet with yourself midweek or multiple times a week, you can at least set one day that's for you. One day. So weekly resets, monthly resets, quarterly resets, right? Because if I'm meeting with myself every single week to see if I'm hitting my goal, and if I'm not hitting my goal, why not? I can constantly evaluate on an ongoing basis moving forward. If I'm meeting with myself on a monthly basis, I can evaluate how to move forward. So when month 2 comes, I can move different. You know what I mean? So we're going back to the accidental living. If you're living on accident, you're not taking time to evaluate nothing. You just live. But intentional living says, I'm going to do a check-in with myself weekly, monthly, quarterly. By the time that quarterly comes, you see what's been going on weekly. Because I learned a lot about myself. You overextending. You doing too much. You committing to too much. You want to lose 50 pounds, baby. But that's not realistic. That's not a realistic goal for how your life is structured right now. Right? And so, again, you need to check in with you. Establish some reset days. Number 4, balance planning for the future and living in the present. Because the purpose of intentional living is so that you aren't overwhelmed or stressed. Intentional living is not to stress you out even more. You're supposed to be relieved because you are doing what you're supposed to do and you're exactly where you need to be. Right? And so, again, you have to find that balance and that rhythm because you don't want to get lost in the future. And you also don't want to be so caught up in the present that you just la, 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 la. You know what I'm saying? You have to find that balance. And then the last thing, number 5, evaluate. All right, friend, that is all. That is it. I really do hope that you enjoyed this video. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. See you later. Bye.